So I'm on vacation and I'm not supposed to be doing any streaming, but I keep getting messages on my phone that look something like this. Someone sent me a message and said he genuinely thinks this bull market is over. I also got another message that says, bro, are you watching the markets? Looks like this bull market is over. What do you think? So today I had a look at the markets and I stopped my vacation and I started to analyze the markets. And what I'm looking at today is I'm looking at this hard week that we've had in crypto and whether or not this could mean that the bull market is actually over or whether this is just another correction that we're having in the bull market. So as I said, I wasn't going to stream. I wasn't going to come and bring you a live show today, and I am on vacation, but it seems like there's a lot of panic in the markets and it seems like the bull market may actually be over. So I thought what we'd do is we'd get together and look at all the facts, all the data, all the fundamentals and decide if the bull market's over. And if it's not over, then what are we actually going to be doing about it? So that's what the show's about today. Let's get going, guys. So as I said, I'm on vacation and I promised my kids and I promised my wife that I wouldn't be doing any streaming this vacation. I promised you, I wasn't even ready to stream. You can see I've still got my beard on. But when you get messages like this from members of the community and from actual mates of yours who are really good friends and actually know the markets pretty well, and they are genuinely concerned about the bull markets, I had to come out of holiday mode. And when I came out of holiday mode, I had to get back into research mode and actually look at the markets and understand whether or not there is a chance that this bull market may actually be over. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you appreciate these in holiday streams, I'm begging you to give us a little bit of a like and to subscribe to the channel. Now, I just want to, before we get into the show, just talk about subscribers to the channel. You will remember that just over a week and a half ago, we had 800,000 subscribers on this channel. Today, we have 868,000 subscribers. That means that we've accumulated 7% of our total subscribers ever in the last 2 weeks. Okay, that just shows you how quickly we are actually growing here at Banter. This just shows you. And I think the reason why we're growing is because the work ethic that we have here, people coming to you, bringing you live shows while they're on vacation, bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom every single day. I guess that's what makes Banter Banter. So listen, if you want to join the fam, subscribe to the channel subscribe to the channel, like this video as much as you can. And yeah, let's get this show on the road so I can go back and spend some time with my family. So as I said to you, the reason why I am bringing you a show is because I'm getting messages like this. And one of the messages that I got was actually today, and you could see it was at 3:40 this afternoon, where they said, I genuinely think this crypto bull market is over. And that got me thinking, could this bull market actually be over? And so what I started to do was I started to research. And one of the places that I research is on YouTube. And on YouTube today, I watched a stream from 𝗙𝗢𝗪, who's one of the people that I actually really respect. And he says, the stock market is about to top and about to implode. Now, that's coming on the back of everything that I've just told you. So I listened to a bit of his stream, and this is actually what I got.
Let's take a look at 3 important charts and in fact 3 important warning signals for the major stock markets. And I'm going to explain to you what these charts you're seeing here mean for the stock markets. Plus also I'm going to explain to you what the new recession signal, which has recently occurred, a new powerful signal, and what this means also for the stock markets and the important consequences it will have in the next several months. Plus also I'll briefly mention Bitcoin at the very end of the video as well.
That wasn't a very bullish video. I carry on Twitter and I see James Mastraten, which is another analyst that I respect, and he says Bitfinex whales are starting to offload more Bitcoin down to 48,500 Bitcoin. They tend to sell during peaks. Now, if this is a peak, then I mean, wow, this is the worst peak that I've ever actually seen. Then I went to the Banter bubbles and I look at the Banter bubbles and I see that it's been a really rough week for crypto. And specifically, it's been a rough week if you've been in altcoins. Just look at the altcoin moves this week. You got Arweave down 22.7%. You got Floki down 25.5%. Celestia has had a rough ride, minus 17.5%. You got Starknet down 16%. So it's been a rough week on the bubbles and on the markets. Then I carried on looking through Twitter and I see Crypto. He says, Bitcoin broke the previous low. We've reached new lows, not seen in 4 weeks. I consider this 10% correction as rather small. Historic corrections are between 10 and 45% in the last 10 years. So people are actually talking about a correction, talking about this as a correction. So naturally what I did was I actually opened the Bitcoin charts. And this is the chart. This is the same range that we have been looking at for the last 107 days or 108 days. You can see that this range started over here. And we are now in day 108 of this sideways accumulation. We've been in this range for 107 days. And so basically what we're experiencing here is we're experiencing the worst type of capitulation. And when I say the worst type of capitulation, the worst type of capitulation is actually what we call the time-based capitulation. It's not a price-based capitulation. It's not because the market's going down that's shaking people out. What's shaking people out is this time-based capitulation. Now, what you can see around this time-based capitulation, or specifically about the last 107 days, this is the range that we've actually been trading in. And actually, if you look at this range, we're actually still at the top part of the range. And I remember last week when we had a show, I think it was a week ago or two. In fact, it was 2 weeks ago. It was about here when I brought you a show. We had just broken up to the top of this range, and now all we're doing is we're testing the top of the range, and we're now at the pivotal point where either we're going to bounce or we're going to go back down to carry on trending in this range. So I mean, it doesn't feel like a top to me at all. It just feels like maybe we're just moving in the range. But as I said, it does look like it was a very, very, very scary week when it came to Bitcoin. As you can see, it was like a very, very, very red week when it came to Bitcoin and crypto. Also, if it was the top, surely there would be signs, right? Like generally, when we look at a top, there are generally signs of a market top. Now, what are the signs of a market top? I guess that the signs of a market top are when you get celebrities coming into the market. That is usually a market top, right? When you get people doing stupid things, like, I don't know, tattooing the names of their favorite tokens all over their bodies, that is usually a market top. So generally, when we get to a market top, what you'll find is you will actually find some signs. I've been here for 3 markets, and I know that every time that there is a market top, you do get the same signs. You do get the celebrities shilling tokens. You do actually get people tattooing tokens names on their foreheads. But hold on a second. Maybe we are in a market top, because you've got people tattooing, celebrities actually tattooing Solana on their foreheads. You've got Iggy and other celebrities coming into crypto. In fact, you've got Iggy, you've got Andrew Tate, you've got Ryan Garcia, you've got a whole lot of other celebrities now coming into crypto. Someone says Andrew Tate shilling coins with insider trading. Little pump with Solana on his forehead. Ryan Garcia releasing a coin. Iggy shilling her coin to inverse Kramer. That was the scariest one for me. Ansem inviting every Z-list celebrity to come scam us. Soy boys on dates with confused athletes. Okay, maybe this is actually a market top, and you can see here some pictures of Iggy at the New York Stock Exchange, where apparently she spoke to Mother. They spoke about Mother there. Here's Lil Pumps tattooing Solana on his forehead. Here's Andrew Tate. I mean, I guess he's probably sitting in Romania, bored because he can't leave Romania. And what he decided to do is decided to come and play in crypto, because it feels like now he's gone into crypto full time. He's launched the Daddy coin and Iggy's launched the Mother coin. So celebrities are actually here in full force. You've got Ansem challenging, or Andrew Tate challenging Ansem to a fight at Crypto Fight Week in Dubai this week. You've got Ryan Garcia, as I said, launching a coin. And someone says, would it be obvious in retrospect? Because we actually do have all the signals of a market top. Why? Because we are above the previous top. And I mean, although albeit like barely above the previous top, but you do have all the signs of froth. And specifically the signs of froth that you have here are the celebrity coins and the celebrity coins and the celebrities coming into crypto. Now, generally, I would say that is definitely a top signal. When you do get celebrities coming into crypto and you get celebrity coins, that for me is very, very, very much a top signal in crypto. And these could, in any other cycle, actually be signs of a market top, but not in this cycle. And I'll explain to you why it's not the case in this cycle. I think you got to understand the reason why the celebrities are here and doing this with the coins in this cycle. Last cycle, we didn't really have meme coins, right? This cycle, we have created a new use case for blockchain, and that use case for blockchain is the ability to launch tokens really quickly and to create tokens really quickly. I mean, you can just go to pump.fund. Let me just show you, for those who don't know what pump.fund is. I mean, if you don't know what pump.fund is, where the hell have you been? Where the hell have you been? Let's just quickly go to pump.fund. I mean, literally, watch how quickly this market, the screen shakes here. But literally every time the screen shakes, you basically have, just watch this. Every time the screen shakes, it's basically a new coin launching. That's what it is. And so this cycle, we created a way to put low cost blockchain, which allows anyone to launch tokens very, very, very quickly, which we never had last cycle. So last cycle, when the celebrities came into the market, last cycle, they came in here to endorse. They didn't come here to launch their own coins. They came here to endorse projects looking for money. This time, what we've done is we've created a new use case for blockchain. And that new use case for blockchain started off with meme coins and actually expanded into what you can call social tokens or fan tokens for celebrity coins. And if you look at Andrew Tate's daddy, or if you look at 𝗥𝗢𝗢𝗔𝗍𝗪's mother token, what you'll notice is that those actually are fan tokens. And for as long as the celebrity or the high profile individual actually carries on pushing those tokens, then they will go up, and if they stop, then they will actually go down. So this cycle is slightly different. This cycle is actually slightly different in that the celebrities coming in are not actually the top signal. The celebrities coming in are actually signs of a new use case for blockchain. And I believe that this new use case for blockchain, this meme coin / fan coin, will actually be a use case going forward. Now, I exactly like Ansem, don't know whether he says social tokens make sense to me. I don't know exactly what it will look like in an app and when done properly, but memes and attention and cult communities, I'm confident there's something there and that it will work in crypto. So from that point of view, this cycle is actually different. But from another point of view, this cycle is actually not different. And the part of the cycle where this cycle is actually not different is that the markets are not moving. And as I said, we will keep trading meme coins until the markets give us our daily dopamine hit. For as long as the markets don't actually move, well, for as long as the markets aren't actually moving, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking for our dopamine hits. And this cycle, we've gone to get our dopamine hits in meme coins. And if you think this cycle is different, well, let me tell you, this cycle is absolutely not different. In fact, look at summer of 2023. In the summer of 2023, which was a year ago, we moved sideways for 222 days. Okay, now, if we were to move sideways for 222 days in this cycle, it means that we are probably only halfway through the chop, because remember, I showed you that this chop has only been 108 days. And so if we were just to emulate the summer of 2023, just going back 1 year, then we would have another 108 days, 115 days of sideways movement before we actually break up. So this is not different from any other cycle. And in fact, every single year, I remind myself to go and to sell in May and go away. Now, that's actually why I took a holiday now. The reason why I took a holiday now was because I kind of knew that if I take a holiday, when I leave and when I come back, the Bitcoin price is going to be exactly the same. And guess what? When I left last week, the Bitcoin price was 67,000, and right now the Bitcoin price is 67,000. So from one hand, in terms of celebrity and fan tokens, this cycle is completely different. But from many other places, this cycle is exactly the same. And why do I say it's exactly the same? Well, as I showed you in the charts, in summer 2023, we moved sideways for 222 days. You want to know what we did while we were moving sideways for 222 days? Well, let me remind you, because a lot of you have got very, very short memories. A lot of you weren't there because a lot of you are part of the new subscribers to the channel that just keep going up and up. And I really thank you guys for that. Come, let's get the subscriber count up. But what we did last cycle in this was we actually started gambling on chain. I don't know if you remember, but last cycle, when we were moving sideways for 222 days, where did we go? The degens went to Rollbit. We went to Rollbit. And I don't know if you remember, but how the Rollbit token actually shot up from almost nothing to an all-time high of like 20 cents. And that happened in exactly this period when we were accumulating sideways here. You can see that. So the market cycle is not very different, okay? Maybe the ways that we are getting our dopamine hits, i.e. this time getting them through meme coins and last time getting them through casino coins, maybe from that point of view, the cycle is different. But from this point of view, the cycle isn't different. So what do we do in these cycles? Nothing ever changes. We fight with each other on Twitter. We look for dopamine hits, and we call the end of the bull market. It happens every single time. What are we doing this time? Well, we're looking for our dopamine hit on meme coins. We're fighting with each other on Twitter, and a lot of people are questioning whether or not this is the end of the bull market. Alex Becker says, I've never seen crypto Twitter more busted and desperate, all-time lows in nearly all behavior, reason, and sentiment, aka the altcoin low is in, the market is reset, load up, accumulation is here. And I think he's absolutely right here. He's absolutely right here. I think very important to realize what Rect Capital says. He says, Bitcoin, the fact that Bitcoin is struggling to break out is beneficial let me just change something here. Okay, so he says the fact that Bitcoin is striving to break out is beneficial for the overall cycle. Bitcoin has, read this, has never broken out this early in the post-halving period. And in fact, if you go to the chart and you look at the post-halving period, which is this red box over here, never in Bitcoin's history in the post-halving period has Bitcoin actually broken out of this box. And I think what he says here, he says, if it did, the cycle would be accelerated to a point that the bull market would simply be shorter. This continued consolidation is enabling price to resynchronize with historical halving cycles. And we need to synchronize with historical halving cycles because we had the ETF cycle, which made this cycle slightly different in the beginning of the cycle. And so nothing is different between this cycle and last cycle. As Ash Crypto says, it says in 2016, Bitcoin had a 30% plus correction post-halving. In 2020, Bitcoin had a 20% plus correction post-halving. Right now, Bitcoin is going through exactly the same, and we're down 10%. Red Capital also says, it says, history doesn't disappoint. It's expectations that ignore history that lead to the disappointment. And that's exactly what's going on here. We are, or a lot of people have forgotten that this is exactly what happens. You have the charts, you have the data, but a lot of people have convinced themselves that this time will be different. And if you convince yourself that this time will be different and this time is not different, well, then what happens? Then you are setting yourself up for disappointment. And the people that are getting demotivated now, the people that are getting demotivated now, well, they are the ones that maybe have huge expectations. The scholars of history, the people that rely on history and rely on charts, well, listen, I've been here before, and there's a reason why I chose to take a vacation in June, because I know that the market just generally doesn't move through this time. And I know that history has taught me that most of the summers, the market moves sideways. And every time that this happens, it almost shakes us all out. It almost shakes us all out. Because what does it do? It ranges, and it takes you to the top of the range. And when it takes you to the top of the range, you put aside all your previous, you put aside all your expectations, and you say, you know what I'm going to do? You know what? Bitcoin's actually going to break out this time, and we're going to start the bull market early, and guess what? It doesn't happen. And then when it doesn't happen, we get disappointed. And why? Because we ignore history. He says it's the expectations that ignore history that lead to disappointment. But actually, this is exactly the same as every other cycle. And so next year, please just remind me in May about this tweet, and let's all sell in May and just go away and come back towards the end of the summer. And yes, it's not exactly what we want to do, because we want to be degenning and shitcoining all day long. But the reality is that is actually a good strategy. It's probably the best strategy, because you need to have some downtime to recuperate and to recover so that you can be prepared for the next part of the bull market, which actually looks something like this. And that part historically has always come. So it doesn't feel like there's a top to me, even though we do have some of the signs of a traditional top. I don't think it's a top. And if you want to ask me about content and the content that Alessio makes, there are people that generally will make slightly more bearish content. Alessio is one of them. Gareth Soloway is another one of them. And we respect those people, because we listen to those people, we listen to the bulls, and then we form our own opinions. So do I think that the bull market is over? Well, the truth is no. Do I think that we do have some problems in the market? Yeah, we do have a lot of problems in the market. Does every market have problems? Of course, every market has problems. I mean, our problems now are very different from the problems that we had last year. Let's just quickly look at the problems. Some are the same, some are very different. The first problem that we have in the market now is that miners are selling. Miners are actually, the reason why Bitcoin started coming down is because the miners started to sell. Why are the miners selling? Well, they're selling because they've just been through a halving, and they're earning half the rewards. And if they're earning half the rewards for mining the same amount of Bitcoin, what are they going to do? They have to sell their Bitcoin to invest in new machines. There's nothing they can do about it. But we do have some other problems in the market. The big problem that does need to be resolved is the other two problems that I spoke, or the other two problems that I spoke about in this tweet over here. And I said the first thing is that VCs are bidding up projects in the market. And not only that, we also have a lot of tokens flowing into the market. So you get a combination of a lot of tokens flowing into the market. Get this, like you've got all these token unlocks from the last cycle and from early in this cycle. They're all now falling onto the market. And we've got so many token unlocks that are actually starting to happen. There's just no way that the market can absorb these tokens as well as all the old tokens still emitting tokens. And then the fact that we're launching nearly 500,000 new tokens last month on Solana, well, who is going to be buying all these tokens? Now, you'll know that a market is actually something that's very simple, right? A market is buyers and sellers. And if basically, if you are releasing new tokens into the market and you need buyers, well, then you must make sure that there are actually buyers to buy your product. Problem is, there's no buyers to buy the product. And if you look at the YouTube views, now remember, this is not our YouTube views, we have managed to buck the trend, and I think we're one of the only channels that have managed to buck the trend, both in terms of subscribers and in terms of increasing viewers. But generally, when you look at the YouTube numbers, when you look at the new subscribers on YouTube, it's not looking very good. And as Miles said, in 2021, when Bitcoin broke 70K, we got the entire industry got 4 million views a day. Today, at about 70K, we're only getting 800,000 views a day. Now, that shows you that there's no retail here to actually buy your altcoin bags. And that's one of the big reasons why the altcoin market is struggling. You have a combination of VCs who are bidding up tokens before they get to the market. Plus, you've got these projects launching these high FTV, low float, and expecting retail to come and buy these tokens. The problem is that retail just ain't here and not buying these tokens. And if you supply a lot of tokens, if you put a lot of tokens into the market and you don't have people to buy those tokens, well, what's going to happen? Naturally, the market's going to go down. Now, the problem is that as the market goes down, it dissuades other people from actually coming into the market. So retail will only come here when the market goes up. But if we keep launching more tokens, and a lot of people go out and buy these tokens because they really are good tokens. I mean, just this week, we had Ether, which launched. We had IONET, which launched. Great projects, both of them. I want to hold some of those projects. Problem is, if I do, I've got to sell some other tokens. Which other tokens am I selling? And that will drive the price of the other tokens down. So as we launch new tokens into the market, and there's no retail coming into the market to buy the altcoins, it's only altcoins we're talking about, because Bitcoin's actually doing very, very, very well. For the altcoins, remember, all the money is coming into the ETFs, is coming into Bitcoin. We haven't got money coming into altcoins, or a lot of money coming into altcoins. But we're launching so many new altcoins, and retail's going, hold on a second, we have a big problem here. How do we, if I want to buy IONET, I want to buy Ether, I want to buy Starknet, or any of these new launches, I've got to sell some of my other tokens. And that is bringing down these tokens. As more shiny objects actually launch, they are bringing down the whole thing. So what do you do now? What the question is, what do we actually do right now if we're in this position? So I'm going to give you one piece of advice, and I think that this piece of advice has really been my superpower. It really, really, really is my superpower. My superpower, as I've said before, is consistency. And I posted this tweet here on Twitter, and I said, consistency to me is my superpower. And I think it's probably worth listening to Tom Brady because
yes. I would encourage everyone to play football for the simple reason that it is hard. It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. It's hard when you're on your way to practice, weighed down with all your gear, and it's 90 degrees out and all the other kids are at the pool or at the beach, and your body is already completely exhausted from workouts in 2-a-days. It's hard to throw, catch, block, and tackle, and hit kids when they're way bigger and way more developed than you, only to go home that night bruised and battered and strained, but knowing you have to show up again the next day for just the chance to try again. But understand this, life is hard. No matter who you are, there are bumps and hits and bruises along the way. And my advice is to prepare yourself, because football lessons teach us that success and achievement come from overcoming adversity, and that team accomplishment
So effectively what he's saying here is the winners and the people that succeed are the people that are actually in the game while it's hard. And right now, this game is really hard. It's hard to be here. But I remind you that when we were here during the bear market, it was very, 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 very hard. And I remind you, I kept saying to you guys, I know it's hard, but let's just keep making one show a day. And even just motivating the people in Banter was really, really, really hard. I had to motivate people like Sheldon and Kyle to just keep making one show every single day. And I had to keep motivating you guys to stay here, to listen, to buy. But the reality is that those that did actually made life-changing money. They made over 300% on Bitcoin alone. And the reality is that those people that bought and participated when it was hard landed up making the most money. So I'm asking you right now to do exactly the same thing. I'm asking you to carry on being here and to carry on, keep on keeping on, keep on being consistent, keep on being consistent. When it feels hard, just think about all the people that have dropped out along the way. Think about all the people that got wrecked. Think about all the people that couldn't run for as long as you guys could run. And then you'll remember what makes the winners different from the losers. And if you want to win, not everyone's just going to come into the market and land up making life-changing money. The people that land up making life-changing money are the people that are here when it's hard, when we're doing the work, when it's actually hard. And right now it's hard, and I know it feels tough, and the sideways action is killing us. Guys, just keep on keeping on. And my advice to you at this point is, number one, remember to always be consistent. Be here every single day. I know some days you don't want to be here, and some days for me, it's very hard to bring you guys content, but I'm here every single day. And I'm here and I'm bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom, and I'm doing the research every single day. And I encourage you guys to be here every single day. The next thing that I encourage you guys to do is get off the daily charts and zoom out. Because as this tweet actually says, anyone who's bearish right now is quite literally missing the forest for the trees. Open up your time horizon over the coming months and coming years and understand why this is probably the best time to be in crypto. And I want to take you through a couple of reasons why it's probably worth your while to actually be here right now. Why this is probably the best time for you to be here. While everybody else thinks that it's hard, while everybody else can't do it, I'm going to show you guys a few reasons why I'm keeping on. And I want to start with the very basic reasons. The very basic reasons actually take me to the charts. And the charts, for me, don't lie. Every time we think that the charts are lying, I want to show you just a couple of basic things in the chart. The first thing is every single bull market that we've had an aggressive blow off top to the bull market. It happens every single time with Bitcoin. This is not a chart that's had a blow off top. So that's the first thing in the charts. The second thing is, as I've said to you guys, look at the stochastic RSI. The stochastic RSI has never lied to us before. Every single time that it's been under 20 and it's broken through 20 and it's continued the run, we've had a Bitcoin run. And this time is no different. In fact, this is the first time that we've actually just broken the 20. Okay, now, are we gonna break through the first time? I'm not sure. But what I know for sure is that the RSI, like clockwork, goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And if you're not trading the daily charts or the hourly charts or the minute charts, it doesn't matter to you. I mean, if you want to go much more into the charts, just look at this post from Looks On-Chain. Look On-Chain, not Looks On-Chain. And what you'll see about this post is that they're saying, look, even though the Bitfinex whales have reduced their positions, there are a whole lot of other charts which show us that we're very, very, very bullish, including the rainbow chart, which is telling you that right now we are in the accumulate zone. So, I mean, again, you can't argue the charts. The charts have been pretty good. So from the charts point of view, the charts are looking very good. The stochastics looking very good. The charts in general are looking very, very, very good. But that's not enough for me because I need fundamental data. And I'll give you some other data, which I think is also showing us that it's amazing. The other piece of data comes from the big week that we had last week in macro. Now, last week was a massive, massive, massive week for macro. What we saw last week was we saw CPI and PPI both better than expected. Now, PPI was a lot better than expected, and CPI was a little bit better than expected. And we had an FOMC meeting last week. And during the FOMC meeting, the price of Bitcoin went down. And I said that, hold on, the FOMC was actually dovish. It was actually bullish. The Fed actually did speak about rate cuts during the FOMC, and they all agreed, or at least, here, let me show you the dot plots. What you can see here, the dot plots are how the Fed, so 4 members see 0 rate cuts this year, 7 members see 1 rate cut this year, and 2 rate cuts this year, 8 members see 2 rate cuts this year. So generally, the Fed is actually starting to see rate cuts this year because inflation is actually starting to come down. Now, on top of that, usually we have Bitcoin moving inverse to bond yield. Now, the traditional markets realized what happened in the FOMC last week. I don't think crypto actually realized what happened last week. And that's why I tweeted this tweet and I said, look, the market's not seeing this yet. Let me just find my tweet. Here it is. The FOMC was dovish. The Fed are seeing this rate cut this year. The market had 1 or 2 rate cuts in mind as the base outlook. The market will soon realize this and start pumping. And that's exactly what happened. The market actually did realize this and start pumping. The bond yields went down. The NASDAQ actually went up to an all-time high. So you'll see that that's the NASDAQ actually on the news of this FOMC went to an all-time high. And that actually brings me to the next reason for why I'm so bullish. The next reason for why I'm so bullish is because if you look at the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ is a proxy for risk assets, right? The NASDAQ is the ultimate risk asset other than crypto, right? It's tech assets. It's the ultimate risk bet other than the crypto risk bet. Now, if you look at the NASDAQ read the FOMC correctly, and the NASDAQ hit all-time highs. If you look at how far the NASDAQ is above its previous all-time high, which was around the 16,000, it is about 20% above its previous high. Now, let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is nowhere near 20% above its previous high. Again, just look at the chart here. That's the NASDAQ, and that's where it is now. It's 17% away above its all-time high. Bitcoin is pretty much below its previous all-time high, or the all-time high of its previous cycle, which means that if you believe that we are in this global liquidity cycle increase, and this is my thesis, that we are in this global liquidity cycle increase, what you believe then is that risk assets are going to continue to grow. And if risk assets are going to continue to grow, then first the NASDAQ will grow, and then people will move further down the risk curve, and that takes us into Bitcoin, and then we will continue to carry on. So the charts are giving me a thumbs up. The macro data is giving me a thumbs up. And then we go into the next part of it, which is that we're in an election year. And this is not a normal election year. This is probably one of the most hotly contested elections in US history. Now, on top of that, you have Trump, you have this whole election, or a large part of this election, being fought about crypto, guys. And you have a situation where right now Trump looks like he's going to win the election. If we were to go into an election now, this is what the poly markets polls actually say about the election. Now, Trump has been very, very, very vocally for crypto.
To further secure America's future and create opportunity for young people, I will end Joe Biden's war on crypto, and we will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in America. We're going to keep it right here, and a lot of it's going to be done right here in Florida, right?
So you've got the charts telling you that there's nothing to worry about. You've got the macro telling you there's nothing to worry about. You've got an election year in the States, and this election is being fought around crypto. Now, that would normally be enough, but I need to remind you of a couple of other things. The next thing that is exciting to me is the fact that we're moving into wave 2 of the ETF buys. Now, we've had wave 1 of the ETF buys, and that was where small offices, family offices, small funds and that bought in. And he has a good list that was tweeted by Crypto Banter, by the internet Crypto Banter, around all the funds that have actually bought. And you can see that in this list, this is not the big funds. This is not the pension funds. This is just the small funds. And so we're about to get into flow number 2 of the ETF inflows. And if you notice the ETF inflows, there was a huge ETF inflow week before last, which shows that we may be getting into phase 2. Now, who's selling the Bitcoin to the ETFs? Well, it's the old whales that are doing this. And what are they going to invest in? Well, they're probably going to go into altcoins, and that's probably going to kick off an altcoin cycle. So we are getting into phase 2 of the ETF. The next thing is we're getting an ETH ETF. And I've said to you guys before that we've heard that this ETH ETF may actually come before the end of the summer. In fact, that's what Gary Gensler said. And I said to you guys before that when the ETH ETF comes, the Bitcoin ETF is people buying Bitcoin. The ETH ETF is people buying a machine that generates altcoins, which is ETH. So that would start the altcoin run. So for me, ultimately, I look at this tweet and I say, look, imagine being bearish when the charts are telling you that you should be bullish. The macro is telling you that you should be bullish. We are in an election year. Trump talking about crypto. ETH ETF is coming next. Bitcoin phase 2 of the ETS. The business cycle and the liquidity cycle is very much in play. And stocks are breaking up. And remember, as I said to you, the stocks that are breaking upwards or melting upwards are the NASDAQ, which is the risk stocks. So I mean, if you want some other anecdotal things, someone says, bro, the end of the year is going to be wild in Asia. So there's Token 2049 in Singapore. There's Korea Blockchain Week. There's Solana DevCon, Solana Breakpoint, which is happening in Singapore this week. So there's going to be a lot of that. Also, 𝗥𝗢𝗢𝗡 tweeted this week. He said, out of the 14 total past June quad witching dates, 11 have marked major pivots on the price before minimum 30% move. In most times, the move has actually been up. 1, 2, 3, 4 times the move has actually been down. Now, let's just pause here for a second. So 𝗥𝗢𝗢𝗡 is really, I think, one of the best chartists out there. Really, really, really one of the best chartists out there. And he has partnered with Banter to bring you guys a free. I mean, it literally is a free trading course. Now, I want you just to watch this. Just watch what you're doing.
Gotten wrecked, as we all. Now, I'm guessing you're here because you're the type of person that might have, I don't know, gotten wrecked, as we all have. You might have gotten liquidated here, liquidated there. You might have gotten into trades where you just don't know what to do. You don't know when to open. You don't know when to close. So we're going to change all of that. This course is for you who wants to beat the casino, who wants to literally invert that relationship and start taking money from the casino rather than it taking money from you, so that you can make money both long and short in any market condition, anywhere.
But check this out.
So how are we going to do that? We're going to create a system that is not on any sort of emotional or gut feeling basis, but it's instead on very objective signals so that we know exactly what to do at exactly what time. My name is 𝗥𝗢𝗢𝗡. I used to be a former market maker authorized trader on the floor of New York Stock Exchange, ARCA. From there, I learned about cryptocurrency, as we all do, completely seduced me, and I just became a crypto trader / content creator, which is where I lead to right now. I created this system from my own personal experience of going broke, where I quite literally had $0.0 in my bank account. It was absolutely awful and maybe the worst experience of my life. However, it did lead to the intrinsic motivation to create this system, which gave the probabilities in my favor, which then I could build upon. And from there, I was actually able to buy my own food. And from there, it just multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. And that is what I hope to pass on to you in this course.
All right, so if you want to join Crown's course, it's free. Okay, now again, you see launching 19th of June, which means you don't have much time to do it. It's very simple how you do it. You go to this link over here, which is at the bottom of the show. You go to this link over here, which, hold on, let's try and find Eric. Okay, so Crown's Trading School. You see, it's this link over here. Click this link over here, sign up with this link over here, get into this course before the 19th of June, and you will actually make it and you'll actually be there for free. I see it's quite loading here. I remember I'm on island Wi-Fi, guys. I'm on island Wi-Fi here, so you got to forgive me. But anyway, just go and click that link and you guys will actually get onto that course. As I said, you've got until June 19th. All right, let's carry on. Let's carry on and say, okay, cool. So we now know that there's no reason to actually be bearish. And that this is absolutely normal. The sideways chop is absolutely normal. It's the same as every other cycle. We're going to fight with each other. We're going to look for dopamine. But in general, the market is actually really, 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 really bullish. And so what is my recommendation to all of you guys now? I know a lot of you guys are watching and saying, okay, what do you want us to do? Someone says that the link doesn't work. Okay, we'll make sure that the actual link does work. I see that it has loaded on my side over here. Let's see if it does load. I think it's got. If it doesn't work, clear your cache and clear your cookies and try again. All right. So what do we do? Well, I'm going to bring you back to this and say what you do now is you remain consistent. And what you do now is you start accumulating tokens with good fundamentals. Now, our researchers have made a whole lot of lists of what they would be buying, and I'm going to leave the list there for you guys before. I'm generally a very consistent person, and for me, my consistency has been to keep following my top 10 conviction bets. Now, that spreadsheet will also be down below, and to just keep dollar cost averaging into these top 10 high conviction bets. Nothing in my thesis has changed at all. In fact, nothing. If anything, I'm seeing this as buy opportunities. And specifically, I want to talk about a couple of buy opportunities that I'm actually seeing right now that probably are worth talking about. The first one that I want to talk about is I actually want to talk about one which was, it's number one on my highest conviction bets, right? and that is 𝗥𝗢𝗡𝗦. Now, the reason why I'm very bullish on 𝗥𝗢𝗡𝗦 now is because I posted this in Frontrunners. Frontrunners is our private Discord. I think that the waiting list for Frontrunners is closed. Let's just have a look here. Maybe guys, maybe just ask him to put in the waiting list for Frontrunners. I posted in Frontrunners, which is our Discord. If you want to get in, we'll leave a wait list below. You can't really get in. That's the problem. But I think maybe just we'll put a link there. But I said, look, the market was disappointed by the 𝗥𝗢𝗡 tokenomic announcements for the AO computer. I would buy this dip. Now, the reality is that the AO token, AO is the supercomputer on 𝗥𝗢𝗡.
Principles. With AO, we want to offer an entirely new structure. And
they launched the tokenomics for AO. And the tokenomics, in my opinion, were very, very, very good. 𝗥𝗢𝗡 holders get 36% of the tokens, right? And 64% go to bridged assets. So effectively, it's a very fair launch. There's no VCs. And if you look at what 𝗥𝗢𝗡 is doing, their ecosystem is growing very fast. They've got the meme coin now, which is called Trunk. They've got the meme coin, they've got RSwap, AirSwap, RSwap, whatever you want to call it. The ecosystem is growing really quickly. So for me, when I look at the fundamentals here, the fundamentals are dislocated from the charts. I think the market was expecting slightly different tokenomics, but I think in time, the market will go back to equilibrium. So I'm doubling down on my 𝗥𝗢𝗡 bet. The next ecosystem that I'm doubling down on is I'm doubling down on Telegram. And the reason why I'm doubling down on Telegram is because if you look at the TON chart, TON doesn't give a shit about this dip. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, TON's actually going to new all-time highs, $8. It's just under new all-time highs. So I'm aggressively continuing to add to my Telegram position. Why? Because as someone says, TON is just built different. It's the best bet that you can actually get for adoption. And now I don't know if you saw, but they've got this hamster. Where is that? I want to see if they put a link here to the hamster. Here we go. Hamster Combat bot, which is the new Hamster Combat bot. It's the new game, like the tap game, but it's called Hamster Combat. Go and check that out. So for me, TON is another one that I'm doubling down on. Then another one which I'm doubling down on Rue. Now, other than the fact that the founder of that ThorChain has been growing very, 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 very quickly, the founder of ThorChain has come out. His name is JP Thor. He's come out pretty aggressively, saying that he's going to consolidate all liquidity in the market, and he's going to put all the liquidity through Rue. Now, how he's doing it is he keeps hinting about a whole lot of acquisitions. He keeps hinting about merging a whole lot of people together, token M&A season. He keeps talking about M&A projects. Now, I've heard, and he talks about this team of DeFi Avengers, people that are basically on his side. Now, look, I've heard the birdies have told me, the little birdies, and I posted this again in Frontrunners, where I said, look, the birdies have told me that one of the acquisition targets that he might be looking at is actually going for KNC, Kyber Network. So for me, that's one that I've actually added a little punt onto my list, just in case he is actually going for something like that. So generally, I keep accumulating in this time. And if I were to give you guys one small piece of advice here, it is that remember that when it is the hardest, the majority of people are the ones dropping out. And if you can stay in when everybody is dropping out, then that is the best time. That is when you'll be much more rewarded. And so I encourage you guys to keep on keeping on, be consistent. I'll be back with the meme coin show tomorrow. I'll be back with my normal programming next week. People are asking me about the GPU shortage. That's why I'm quite bullish on the GPU shortage. It's not going away, so that's a pretty good one. People talking about the baked launch. So the baked launch will happen, I said to you guys, before the end of June. I'm not going to give you guys a specific date. There's a reason, because I don't want you guys falling for scam tokens. Last time we told you guys Gummy was going to launch on 420, and then everybody went and on 420, they all went and launched Gummy tokens. You didn't know which one was the real one. So baked is coming out. I've got two pieces of good news on baked. So anyone who staked Gummy on memestaking.com, you guys are going to get a baked token. But anyone who's holding Gummy is also going to get a baked airdrop. So we're going to finalize the details of that this week. But the people that were staking Gummy are going to get much more. But the people that aren't staking Gummy, if you just hold Gummy, you will actually get a little bit of a baked airdrop. Also, I know the Bybit airdrop for Gummy was given, but there's a massive airdrop, which is going to people who sign up with Blowfin. So sign up on this link over here with Blowfin. You don't need any KYC on this exchange. And there's two things happening on Blowfin. One is we are starting a giveaway, a gummy airdrop, a huge gummy airdrop for Blowfin users. Number two is we're going to have a trading competition on Blowfin with huge prizes. So my recommendation is go and sign up. It's a non-KYC exchange. You don't have to KYC. I will see you guys again tomorrow where we do the giveaway show. Until then, it's not the end of the world. The market's not ending. And what you just do is either chill, and if you're going to trade, well, then trade well, my friends.